Welcome back to 843 TV here at the Technical College of the Lowcountry, and joining us next is Clayton Rollison. He's the owner and chef of the lovely Lucky Rooster restaurant on Hilton Head Island. Good to talk with you today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Clayton, you've been here for several years. Share a little bit about your background and what you do in your restaurant.
Yeah, so I'm from the area. My family's been here a long time, and then they've been in the restaurant industry. My father had a restaurant. My uncle was part of a large restaurant group on the island, so it kind of just fell into it, and it was just a good fit.
Now, so I have to say, I feel a little starstruck because I'm such a fan of your restaurant and the food. So why are you such an advocate for the Culinary Institute?
After moving back here from traveling and cooking all over the country, Hilton Head and Beaufort County as a whole, we've been at a disadvantage not having a proper, education for our industry compared to what Charleston offers. And now, Charlotte didn't take Johnson & Wales on accident. So, this is our biggest industry in our area.
Considering we are such a big tourist and hospitality driven industry, it is kind of unusual that we hadn't had this. So this is a huge thing coming up that's going to make some good value to our area.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think I know the answer, but just to ask you again, how do you think the Culinary Institute will benefit small business and restaurants in the Lowcountry?
Well, anytime you can have some kind of trained labor force coming into the market, that we're not starting from just scratch, from ground zero, is a huge benefit. Having people that speak the same language in a kitchen is really important to have. It's way more than just culinary training when you're talking about the hospitality industry. I mean, it's really one of those things that, yes, there's a specific skill set you need to be successful in a restaurant, but there's also this whole other level of emotional empathy that you really, I think college plays a lot into it, because this is the first time, kids are leaving home and having to really interact with other people without like that safety net underneath them. So, and that's really vital, to be part of a team in a kitchen. I mean, it's really a close-knit group of people working together.
And you kind of answered our question as why is it important for the employees to have training?
I'm sorry, I'm going to interject.
Yeah, go ahead.
So so many people think being a chef is just knowing how to cook.
Right.
And only because I'm a total addict, just ask my husband of every food program on the planet. You get that sense that it is so much more than that. I mean, learning how to run a kitchen, learning how to speak the language, learning how to buy what you need to meet the needs of the restaurant for every day with a different, I mean, it's incredible what they have to learn.
Being a chef, I joke with the person that runs the kitchen with me, Drew, that if his knife's on the board too much, he's not doing his job. The cooks are there to cook, the chefs are there to lead. And that's really, it's no different than any other business. There's this huge misconception that like the guy that runs the restaurant, the executive chef, is there making sure, cooking everything for everyone. That's just not the reality of it. It's a team, it's a brigade. We work like any other business where each person's tasked with specific things, and the executive chef works like the air traffic controller. He makes sure that everything works together and that nothing crashes. And that's a skill set that's really hard. There's organization, there's communication. Our brains are working on an egg timer at all times between cooking things properly, making sure it's executed.
Quality control, sure.
Quality control, and those are all the things that take time, and a culinary school laying the groundwork really helps, especially the small businesses, because to develop a person that walks in with very little to no skill set to a person that is a productive, functioning member of the business, that's really a year or 2 years if we're starting at a zero baseline. So having a culinary school really shows that the kids are invested in themselves. This is what they want to do. They're not just falling into some industry. Like, I'm not going to wake up and say, I want to be a plumber. That doesn't work. There's a whole apprenticeship program that you have to go through, and you guys have classes. They have classes here at at the college for that stuff.
So clearly they have to invest themselves and their time. And I'm sure one thing that's going to be on students' brain who are entertaining this program is, what are the rewards? I mean, what kind of pay can someone who has culinary training expect?
Well, I started out, bussing tables and washing dishes in high school, and now I own my own business.
Right.
So I mean, it really is up to the motivation of the student. It's It's no different than if you go to law school. What do you expect when you get out of law school? Do you use it? Do you invest in yourself? Do you continue when you leave college to continue to pursue with some discipline and focus your dream, right? So, I mean, there is no earning limit to it. It really depends on how much you're willing to invest and put into yourself. And I think that's something that kids that make the decision that they're going to work in the kitchen, they're going to work in the hospitality field, will have a leg up on over the person that's kind of, I don't know what to do and I got to pay my bills when I'm 19 years old. Mom and dad said I got to get out the house, so it's time to go, you know.
Well, you're clearly a living example of everything you're described. You've got your heart and soul invested in it. You've worked your way up from bus person to owning your own restaurant. What other additional advice or would you give to someone who's thinking about a career in this industry?
There's a really good foreword in the French Laundry Cookbook, and Thomas Keller talks about passion versus discipline. And passion's fun when things are easy, but do you have the discipline and the motivation to wake up and do it every day? And that's part of what being in a kitchen is, like getting to create dishes and getting to you know, run specials. That's really fun, but do you have the discipline every day to get out of bed and put forth your best effort to taste every dish? And that's probably the most important thing you have when you carry into a kitchen, especially a really professional one. And you know, school's a great way. You have class, you're responsible, you're accountable, you're graded on it. And it's a great start to that discipline.
Well, Clayton, thank you so much for your words of wisdom. I know that they'll be appreciated by people who are so interested in the Culinary Institute. We will be back with more information on that, as well as some other conversations about TCL in just a few moments.